just the process of getting to the visa. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to another episode of BG Global Podcast, because we are Black, global, and local. And this is your girl Fatu. I'm so excited to be here with my co-host Murungi.
Hey guys, this is Murungi. Thank you for joining us once again on the Big Local Podcast. Remember to subscribe on our YouTube channel, follow us on Anchor and Soundcloud, and comment, like, and share.
Yes.
So today, this is like a part 2 to the podcast that we did before. Before we talked about, traveling, where I want to go, where we want to go, where we want to go there. But now we're going to tell you a few stories about our travel tales. After that, we'll give you some tips on traveling better. We are not travel agents.
No, we're not.
But we've learned a few things here and there that I would like to share with you. I mean, soon we'll be able to travel, hopefully, constantly praying. Soon we'll all be able to travel once again.
Yeah.
So, yes, I'll start with you.
My stories.
So tell me, what has been your experience traveling? What have been like some of the tough things or the good things, especially as Africans?
I mean, as Africans, first of all, one disadvantage we have while traveling is that we need to get visas in most countries. So getting the visa can be troublesome sometimes, can be hard, can be a little bit hectic. Being a student is usually easy when you have scholarship also, when the financial background a little bit is a little bit strong. So I would say while traveling, like if you have a good financial background, also a good reason while you're traveling, especially if it's just for vacation, visa will be okay. You will get the visa, just that it will take a little bit of time applying, going to the embassies and stuff. So that's the only hard part about that. So, and last episode we talked about getting visas within Africa. Also, me being from West Africa, I don't need to, but outside of Africa, other places, I think I might need to get a visa with those. But I don't think it will be hard. I think it's just the process of getting to the visa. But I don't think it will be, you will get a rejection for no reason or something like that, or being treated unfairly.
Well, so, yeah. I'd like to disagree on that.
Really?
Because,
okay.
We've had very many stories whereby people have been, they're not given visas simply because they are Black or simply because they are African. You'll hear different stories on different forums. And for me, I've experienced like an unfair treatment. When I first came to Japan, the following summer, me and my friend were like, you know what, let's go to Europe. Yeah. So we did everything. We booked flights, we booked hotels. We had all our documents ready. We had the scholarship, the document to show that we are students and stuff. And I went to this embassy. I submitted the documents, everything, like all the documents I needed. I submitted the schedule of what I was going to do while I was in Europe. Like, from my perspective, everything was in line. So when I reached there, they asked me, where's your bank statement? I was like, but the bank statement wasn't part of the documents that were asked for. I also know that the embassies have a right to ask you for extra documents. I know that.
Yes.
But how they said it was what got me angry. And I thought to myself, this is an unfair treatment. Because the people before me were more or less had the same documentation and stuff. But I was not asked for extra documentation. I was asked for extra documentation. And to make it worse, while the lady at the front desk was, asking a few questions, she went inside to call her supervisor or boss. And then the lady asked, I remember she vividly asked, which country is she from? Then the lady checked my passport and she says Uganda. And the lady did this. She just said no.
Oh.
Right there and then, for no apparent reason apart from the fact that maybe I'm African. The lady said no. Well, luckily they didn't stamp a rejection in my passport. They just gave me back my documents. I remember I left that particular embassy like feeling so bad. I'm like, really? I mean, I have all the documents. I have shown you that I'm not going to disappear in Europe. I'm just going for vacation with my friends, and that's it. I'm coming back. I have a whole lot more to lose if I stayed in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
True.
So, well, that for me was my experience. And then also my friend, the one that I was traveling with, they kept tossing her up and down without even telling her the reason. They'll tell her, okay, bring this document. She would take it. Bring this document. She would take it. What about this document? Until she was like, you guys are just playing with me. Because she would be there would be other people coming with half the documents she has. They would stamp, they'd give them the visas and all. But for her, she's also Ugandan, but for her, they were not even giving her an explanation as to why they were not giving her the visa, you know. That's different. If you tell until she was like, you guys, I think now you're just being racist. Why are you not giving me? You know, she had to come out and be strong and call them out on their bullshit. So after some time, they told her, you know, I think the schedule you have is wrong. Do you even know how the map of Europe looks like? She's like, are you kidding me? This is the reason why you're hesitant to give me the visa? Really, guys? So such petty reasons. I think as Africans, we are profiled.
True.
Very, very hard.
Yeah.
We are given unfair treatment. And not just for visas and stuff, but also at check-ins, you know, when they say random check-ins, it is never random check-in.
I guess I had this story with you guys when I traveled with you guys. I think it was in Malaysia. All of us, we were together. We all got our baggage together. And then they picked me. They were like, you come here. Let's check your bag. I'm like, and after they checked my bag as I was going out, they're like, another security came to me, was like, oh, can I check your passport? They're like, okay, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm in Japan. I study there. And when they saw my Japanese residence card, that's when they left me to leave and then get into their country. I didn't understand why.
And just to give a little bit of background to this story, there was Fatu from the Gambia, there was me from Uganda, and another Ugandan friend of ours, and there was another friend from Kenya, right? So I think they have
there are levels to this.
Against West Africans or something. I do not know, but it was only Fatu who was stopped.
It was only me. I think there are levels to this because maybe other African countries have higher perks, and for me, other Africans have lower, maybe. But I felt like it was just a little bit like, why was I the one chosen? Because I don't think I had any guilty guilty expression on my face or anything like that.
Yeah.
And another time was when I traveled to South Korea. I was to go with a friend from Sudan, but she came late, so I traveled alone on the flight by myself. So when I reached the security check, they were like, "Oh, you wait over there." After they checked my cards and my passport and the visa and everything, I had the visa and everything, and I had to wait for a long time until every passenger that has passed through that I came with the flight on, they already left the security checks and they were like, "Oh, where are you staying?" I'm like, "This is where I'm staying. This is the address I'm staying." You're like, "Oh, you have to call that person." So I had to get the number of the person for the Airbnb to call them and tell them, "Okay, this person has already booked this place and she's gonna stay here." And then finally, for no reason, one of the guys just came. I was like, "Oh, you in Japan?" I'm like, "Yes." It was like, "Oh, I've been to Japan before." It was like, "Oh," and then he was like, "Oh, you're a student?" I'm like, "Yes." I was like, "Okay, you can go." For no reason, just like that. Like they didn't keep me there at the security check for no reason. They just, maybe because I'm black and they didn't understand why I'm black in Asia. Why I'm black in Asia, they didn't understand that. And yeah, it was a bad feeling, but you know, I was like, okay, well, I think traveling, like people should be treated based on their merits or
Yes.
they individually, yeah,
Individual merit.
what they have with regards to your documents and how they are with regards to the
I mean,
passport, not because of
if you meet the requirements, why should I be treated differently? Actually, that
exactly.
reminds me, I was doing transit in Hong Kong the time I was going to Europe, and they checked my documents, and then they told me to wait. Well, for this one, was a genuine thing, but they didn't let me proceed to the next level. They made me what's the word? They told me to change my flight details. Well, there's a small problem that I don't quite remember. They told me to change a few things so that they let me go to the next level. There are times like that when genuinely, there's small issues here and there, right?
Yeah.
But then when I was traveling to Hong Kong, this time I wasn't doing transit, I was actually traveling to Hong Kong with my best friend. And then, we were lining up to get to the immigration. The guy came from all the way that side. He called me out while I was in the line. He just called me. He said, "You come." And then they took me. I was like, "I'm not alone." Well, he doesn't look very African, so for him, I think they're going to let him through. I'm like, "No, I'm with him." So they called us both. They took us to some back room
office.
And then the most amazing thing is that there was about 6-7 of us, and we're all black.
Oh my God.
We're all black. I don't know if the other guys were from the Black Americans or something. Because at that point I was like, where are they? I mean, everything we have checked out. We have all the documents that we need to get here. So they made us sit in that room for like an hour. And then finally they called us. They checked our documents. And I think the guy saw nothing wrong with our documents. So he got my passport and he said, "I see you've been traveling almost every year. What do you do? What is your business traveling all over the place? You've been to Europe, you've been here. Why are you traveling all over the place?" I'm like, is
it a crime?
Problem?
Is it a crime to travel?
I like to travel. It's like, but you've been moving in and out of the country. I say you've been to this country 3 times. You've been to this one. I'm like, yeah, I like to travel, and it's summer vacation. That is what students do. They travel during summer vacation, It's like, no, this is not right. You must be doing some other kind of business. So my best friend was like, listen, I also travel. You see, this is my passport. I also travel a lot when I get time. It's just that we like traveling, and when we get the opportunity, we travel. He said, no, this is not right. I was like, I just sat there and waited. I was boiling. I was angry because I knew I hadn't been stopped for a genuine reason. I was stopped simply because I was black or simply because I am African. Anyway, after some time, I think they moved around. They moved our papers to some guy in even a back corner somewhere. After that, they gave us our documents. Like after 1.5 hours of just sitting there and doing nothing. Then we finally checked out. Rather, we went to immigration. We got our baggage. As we were moving out, another lady, a police officer, was like, "You come here." Wait, I told her I am not coming. I have been up there for almost 1.5 hours. You are racist. The reason you're stopping me is because I am black. I was like, I'm not stopping. And I walked. She was like, no, I didn't say that. I'm not stopping. I was like, no, you're stopping me because I'm black.
That's true. Most definitely.
And then she left me. She felt embarrassed because there were like other people. I was like, no, there's no way I'm going to be stopped again. This is utter nonsense, It's
for real.
Nonsense. And then for other countries you go to, for example, I've been to the Philippines many times, and they're so happy to see you. They're like, "Oh, hi, where are you from? Oh, okay, that's really nice." Sri Lanka, they were very excited. They're like, "Oh, Uganda. I think I have a cousin or two in Uganda." So not all countries will profile you, or not all countries will treat you wrongly, but a majority will treat you unfairly because you're black. First of all, because you're black. And when you're African, it's even worse,
It is. I mean, the profiling thing, the profiling thing, it's real. Like I said, there's some countries that are good, some countries that are actually very welcoming. But like I mentioned, like people have to be treated individually in their own ways. Yes. I remember the first time I went to the US. Not the first time, maybe the second time I went to the US. I was from Taiwan going to the US. And when I get to the border, they actually like singled me. They're like, "Oh, you come here." Americans, they were like, "Okay, where you from?" I'm like, "I'm from the Gambia." "What do you do in Taiwan?" I'm like, "Study." They were like, "You studied there?" They couldn't believe I'm studying in a country in Asia. I'm like, "Yes, I am studying there." I had to show them my student ID, and I told them, "This is my student ID. This is actually my scholarship certificate," to tell them I have a full scholarship. Like, come on, I got a visa with all the right things to apply through. So if I come to the border and I show you all my documents, why can't you just treat me like the way I'm like my documents? Like, why would you think otherwise? Why would you even question that I am actually studying in a country in Asia? Like, it does not make sense for me. So,
you know, when we're in Paris, my friend, because when we're doing our Euro trip, after our Paris journey, I decided to go to the Netherlands, and she decided to go to Austria. So when she was traveling to the airport, when she finally got off the train and she was getting into the airport, a police officer literally ran after her. I think he was, you know, monitoring and thing, and then he saw her from a distance, and he literally ran after her and told her, "Come." She's like, "Yeah." Like, "Where's your train ticket to show that you actually got onto the train?" She was like, "Huh?" She's like, "Where's your train ticket?" She's like, "But I already passed through. That means I paid, you know." It's like, "No, where's your train ticket? If you don't show me your train ticket, I'm going to take you to prison for, I don't know, doing what, blah, 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 blah." She's like, "But I don't understand this, you know?" So after a struggle, the guy told her, "Okay, give me €5. I don't know if it was 5 or 10 euros, then I'll let you go."
No way.
Yes, way.
Every. Oh my God, I never thought I'll hit something like this. Oh God.
She had to pay money for that guy to let her go. Can you imagine? Yet she had gotten into the train, gotten the ticket, exited the train. She was going to check in, and that is what happened.
A lot of Africans
don't understand why we should all be put in a box. For me, that is my problem.
That is the point.
Other people, other races, other nationalities do the same thing.
True.
But the pressure is hardest on us.
Yeah,
you know?
Most definitely. I agree.
Hardest on us. I mean, even when I was transiting through China, of course, at first they stopped me, put me in a room once again, and checked my documentation. Then when I was walking out to move to the next terminal, a random guy, may I have a feeling who was even a cleaner, he stopped me and said, "Where are your documents? Where are you from? Where are you going?" I was like, "My friend, they just checked my things. They just checked my things, and I'm not going to show you any other documents. I've just been let out of a room a few minutes ago." And then he felt shy and he let me go. So such nonsense.
For me, my best experience was with regards to China. I had a good experience, and Taiwan, they let me in so easily. I just went, I just showed them where I'm going, and it was so easy. Like,
I was transiting. I wasn't even going to China. I was transiting. That is the funny part, you know. So I don't know what we can do as Africans, but I don't think individuals we can do so much.
Yeah, true.
To do something about the ties they have in these countries, because I mean that's how everything else works, policy and blah blah blah. You know.
So with all these problems, what do you think are some of the tips that you can give to Africans for better travel? What they can do? For me, I mean, one thing is to let's comply. Yeah, try to comply. When someone says bring out your train ticket, just give it to them. Or if you throw it, just tell them I just threw it over there. Let's go check it out or something like that. Comply, and just be calm. Yeah, be patient. It's something that's kind of uncomfortable and it's not right at all. But one thing you can do is comply and just give them what they needed so that they won't have a reason to keep you there longer. I think. What are some of the tips?
Have your documents at the ready. Like, have all the documents you need at the ready, you know?
True.
And and be confident. Don't shrink yourself, but be confident without, as you said, without wanting to bust. Me, I think I've had a bit of a problem because I'm like, no, you guys are treating me unfairly because of this, and I tell it to their faces. But perhaps, I don't know. Yeah, just have all your documents at the ready and be calm. Actually, have hard copies, by the way. Move with hard copies. Leave alone the soft copies.
One tip.
Copies. I think also we need to use more reliable booking agencies. Yeah, I know some of them might be pricey, but if you really don't want to get a lot of hassle and stuff, usually if you have a reputable booking agency, they might let you off a lot easily. But
you mean booking for flights or?
Booking for flights, even hotels.
Okay.
Yes, because sometimes when you do it by yourself, because I mean it's cheaper to do it by yourself. But if you can afford it, get a good booking agency. But if you're doing it by yourself, be aware of things. For example, like ratings on some places. Some of those things are not right. People are given money to boost ratings of some of these areas. Now, this is not really about traveling and visa, but when you housing. Remember that time we went to that place in Indonesia?
I know, right? Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, usually that place was not even cheap. It was just that the way they advertise it looked nice, but it wasn't in real life. Yeah. So also cheap is not always best. Get the most. So research the area, research the place, how it is the place, how is it safe before you actually book a place to go to, and how close is it to the destinations that you want to go to. That's something important.
And also beware of fraudsters. Be very sharp. You might think, I'm going to this place. There's fraudsters in Europe. I'm sure there's fraudsters in Dubai. There's fraudsters everywhere. So you also need to be very, very aware. And when you travel, your documentation, you need to keep it in a safe place. I don't know if all the safety boxes in all those places are legit. But you have to, the time I was traveling, I decided to do a train trip from Milan to Paris. And I let me experience how these European trains work. So I got onto the train. So I didn't know that trains, some of them are one gender, some of them are mixed. So you might be in a cubicle, 6 beds or 4 beds. You might be sleeping with some other 2-3 guys. You need to be aware of that. Now, for me, in my case, I didn't know about this, but thank God the cubicle I was in, it was in a mixed car. I didn't even know. And luckily, when I got in, there was 2 other ladies, and I think there was supposed to be 2 gentlemen, and then me, and I think another lady. But it was shocking because I was seated, and then I see a guy coming. I was like, oh my God, this thing is mixed. So things like that, you need to research a little bit more. Then also on those trains, sometimes, moving in Europe is a little bit tricky. I personally, I would advise that you have your documents. You literally have to sleep with your documents.
Most definitely.
In a small bag, on you like this. Because someone might come and run away with your passport.
Yeah.
And then what? You're going to get thrown into jail for
not having documents.
Yeah, so you need to take very good care.
One other tip is don't put your money in one place. Separate your money. I put my money sometimes in a little bit of my bag, sometimes in another bag, sometimes in another document, and sometimes even some of my clothes that I pack. So people will never guess where I put my money. You will never guess because it's in different places. Because if you lose one thing, at least you have a backup for the other side. So yeah, don't put one thing in. And also when you go out to buy things, don't take out your money all out like that or anything. Just try to blend in with the people. Don't be out there looking all fancy and stuff. You might be a target. You might be a
For
target.
money, the other tip I'd give, for example, if you're doing like say a Southeast Asia trip, well, fine, for Europe they all use euros, so that is actually good. But if you're doing like Southeast Asia, they all have different currencies. If you've been in country A and they use country A currency, when you're leaving, exchange that currency from that country. Like exchange and either get dollars or get the currency of the country you're going to next.
True.
Because we had a hard time when we were moving from one country to another and we had currency from the other country. It was like we lost a bit of money. Some of it we just had to like be like, okay, you know what? There's nothing I can do about this. So when you're moving to another country, leave them with their money.
Okay, I mean, these are good tips, actually. I learned something from you. I mean, thank you guys for listening today. I guess today we dropped a little bit of gems with regards to traveling, and tell us a little bit, and we told you guys about ourselves and what we have gone through while traveling, some of the problems and challenges that we faced while traveling. So hopefully you had a good episode in this podcast. Yeah, thank you all for listening.
Thank you guys. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, share, and follow us on Anchor and SoundCloud. Stay well. Till next time. Bye.
Bye.